going to start recording.
Okay.
I already started recording. So now we're going to start streaming. We're going to start. This time I'm recording everything.
Did you end up putting out our episode?
No. We'll do this one, though.
Okay.
All right. You ready? Let's make sure we're not live right now.
That's what you said last time.
No, last time we weren't live. It was right. I was right. Okay. You ready?
Okay.
It's always hard because we don't know if we're live. All right, everybody. We're back with another game night episode, Board Game with Education. We're going to talk about the games we played at our last board game night.
Yeah, we just had it this past Sunday, February 23rd, and we had a much better turnout than last time.
Yeah, well, where are we? I guess let's start there. We're at
where we host our events. We're at the Legacy Center here in Woodland Hills, Los Angeles, California.
And we hosted our event last Sunday, which would have been before we get into the episode, if you're watching this on YouTube, because we're going to release this on YouTube, and if you're listening to the podcast, be sure to check out the YouTube video because we're going to talk about some games on the show, and we're going to show some pictures of the games, and it might be helpful to watch the video as well, so you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're live right now on Facebook.
We're live on Facebook. Should we play the
Oh, no,
intro?
I'll add it.
Oh, okay.
If you're listening on the podcast, you already heard the
How
intro.
can we wait?
Okay. So, yeah, we played some games last event.
Mm-hmm.
We had about, 3 tables going at one time. So that was good. Last time it was just one table. So
I would say we doubled.
tripled our amount of tables, but maybe doubled our amount of people that came.
Yeah, definitely. And it was really exciting to have my grandma, who's 90. She joined, and she chose not to play, but she was a very good cheerleader.
Yeah, she was excited when you guys were playing Trap Wars.
Yeah.
So that was fun.
Yeah.
I was thinking, though, I would like to add a couple games to our collection and think about some games that are very, I don't want to say simple. I guess simple to understand how to play and get going and don't require a lot of interaction, maybe. I mean, because a lot of the games we have, because I enjoy games that have a lot of interaction. I enjoy party games. I enjoy cooperative games. But I know there are some gamers out there that want a simple game, and I think that would have been nice to have for your grandma.
Well, yeah. I guess at that age, she enjoys bingo.
Yeah. Right.
So something like that. But for that one, you kind of need a bigger crowd. I would say that want to play that, or else she'll just be winning most of the time.
But I'm thinking something simple like traditional card games, like spades or hearts or.
I don't think my grandma knows those, but something along those lines. But I mean, she just enjoyed being there.
Right,
but that's why it was special.
Yeah. I think she enjoyed herself.
Yeah.
I tried my Spanish a little bit. I said, "Quieres comer?" That's about the extent of my Spanish.
Yeah, we had snacks. So if you ever join us, we tend to have some chicken wraps and some other goodies.
Yeah, so if you are in the Los Angeles area, feel free to join us. But if not, I hope you can hear us and enjoy us talking about some of the games and maybe take some of our suggestions or maybe learn a little bit about the games that we played.
Yeah.
The first one that we played is We're Doomed. And
this isn't in the order we played them, though, right?
No, because remember last time I wanted to start with a newer game that's very recently released or even maybe unreleased. So last time we played Facing Off, and that is on Kickstarter. Now, if you're watching live, if you're watching after it's live, you might still be able to check it out on Kickstarter.
That was a fun one.
Sponsor, Facing Off. But the game that we have a picture of right up here is called We're Doomed.
And this is a good game for a bigger group too. You are more familiar with this game. I was not at this gaming table. So all I know is you're trying to escape. Yeah.
So
We played it over the holidays, but since then it's kind of been fuzzy.
Yeah, I played this game first at PAX Unplugged in November, so it's a pretty recent release, and they were playing it, showing it off there, and you could pick it up at PAX Unplugged. I wanted to wait, and I ended up picking it up here in Los Angeles at a local game store called Paper Hero Games, and we played it over the holidays at your grandma's 90th birthday, and it's a 10 player, up to 10 players. I think it goes as few as 4, but it's a party style game. So essentially you have a ship, a rocket ship, because Earth is going to be doomed, and you have to decide how many people get to escape on the ship, and you're putting resources into the middle. So you can see in this picture, they're having a good time playing the game. But if we look at this picture, you're placing resources in the middle. You have different, I guess, nation states that have specific powers for gaining more resources, or different nation states for, I guess, taking influence. So influence allows you to get on the ship, where resources allow you to build seats on the ship. Yeah, so.
Yeah, from what I remember playing, it's kind of you're trying to do a couple different things. You're trying to save your resources, but you also have to give them up in order to have more space on the ship that escapes. So I think the 2 times I played, no one got off safely. But I do remember this past Sunday, I believe it was 2 players got off safely.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah. I
so
didn't
at least 2
watch the end,
survived.
yeah. So I was just looking at some comments, and I want to say hi to Sylvia. Hi, Sylvia. And
Hi.
Elizabeth and Annie. Hi, Annie.
Hi, Annie. Hi,
Thanks for
Sylvia.
watching.
Thank you for watching. Hi, Elizabeth.
I think. So this is another picture. It's just the resources. If you have, for example, I think if you have, how many did they have? They had 5 players. They needed 80 resources in the middle for all 5 of them to be safe. And they probably ended up with like 50 to save only 2 people.
Okay. Yeah, I remember when we played, it was a pretty big number like that. And we did not even get close. We didn't save one person, so we were a little selfish.
Oh, there's a timer there. So the timer is 10 minutes. It's a timed game. You take turns, but you're only playing for a limited amount of time.
Yeah, that's what makes it tricky.
And then the seats are there too. So those are based on the number of players. It might be a little small though.
Yeah, but that's a fun one.
Yeah, we're doomed. That was good. My breaking games.
I think one of my favorite parts is like they have different event cards that change things up throughout the game. And one of the event cards is to name your like country that you represent in the game. And that's always a lot of fun. Or I think one was to create like a theme song or a slogan with like a certain a certain number of lines, and that was hilarious. One of my cousins came up with something funny. So
yeah, I think there's 100 events. So I've only seen maybe about 10 of them.
Yeah, I haven't seen that many.
And the one with the jingle, you have to create a jingle.
Oh, that's what it was.
A rhyme about your nation state, and then you vote on whose is the best to get more influence or resources.
Yeah.
And it's funny because it's 10 minutes, so it kind of like takes time to do that. But everyone can choose not to participate in it and just move on. But everyone
tries.
You want, you want the resources, you want the influence, so you kind of want to try. But then it kills time, which kills opportunity to build.
But
more
I think that's
seats.
what makes it fun is everyone's kind of aware of the time, and during that jingle, you try to come up with the best thing that you got in the amount of in the short amount of time that you can. So it turns out to be generally silly things, but it's fun.
Yeah. That was We're Doomed by Breaking Games.
Yeah.
Next up.
And didn't they say they were coming up with an expansion soon?
Oh, yeah.
I believe so.
Yeah. I don't know much about it, though.
I don't either. But if you like this game and want to continue playing, word is there's an expansion coming.
Word on the street.
Word on the street.
All right, the next one was trap words, and this was
Oh,
the hit
this
of
was
the night.
yeah, I think everyone that played this wanted to go, like, took pictures and wanted to go buy it after.
And what you played with, I think it was 3 and 2.
Yeah, so we were an odd grouping, so we were 3 against 2. But to be honest, that didn't. We were pretty even, I would say, along the way, and I really enjoy that one. I always enjoy trap words. I've played it with my students in the classroom, with their vocabulary words. I've played it with friends, and playing it on Sunday was a lot of fun because, first of all of us, we didn't really know each other, so it was a way to kind of get to know the other person. It made it a little tricky coming up with trap words since you don't know the people that well. So you can't necessarily plan out what they're going to say as well as you would with closer friends, but I think that's what made it more like entertaining is when you, for example, one of our words was chimney.
Can we go over what is trap
Oh,
words?
sorry. You can explain what trap words is.
So, if anyone's played Taboo, it's very similar to Taboo. Well, it uses one of the same mechanics where you're, like, if I have to get you to guess the word apple, I cannot say red, fruit, or tree.
Right. There's some words that you cannot give as clues in order for your teammate to guess the word.
Right. So I might say something like, it is something with a seed, and you eat it, and you might get apple, maybe not. But
I would say eating this a day keeps the doctor away.
Yeah. So with trap words, you are creating the trap words, the words the other person cannot say. So, for example, if I need my team to guess apple, you created 3 words I cannot say. So maybe you did not write fruit, you wrote doctor.
Mm-hmm.
And then I start going, oh, it's if you eat it once a day, it keeps the doctor away. And then you go, because I said it's a trap
doctor,
word.
Yeah.
So it's team-based, right?
Yes.
And you're working your way to the end. It's dungeon-themed, which really has nothing to do with the game other than just
they have
flavor.
Curses and event cards along the way. But, yes, thank you for stopping and explaining the game because I was just going straight to it because in my head, I've just played it so often and explained it to my students and always bring it out. So in my head, it's something that everyone already knows, but it isn't, which is one thing on Sunday, everyone that was playing, it was their first time playing it, first time hearing about it, which was pretty exciting. But the one thing that I enjoyed the most from that is number one, with my partner, we were definitely on the same wavelength, which was cool. Coming up with similar words, or she started writing something down that I was like thinking about. And one thing I really liked seeing was the other team was very creative in how they went about saying the clues. A lot of the words that we would write down, they would completely surprise us and go in a different way. So I thought that was a lot of fun.
Right. Yeah, I think Trap Words is my favorite party word game. I really like to do it in a group. Like, that's my go-to because it is pretty quick to explain, and it's always fun. Like, always a good time.
Yeah, and one thing we were talking about while we were playing is it seems simple. It seems like it's easy to understand, but then at the same time, it can be pretty tricky. And there's some curses that make things even more tricky. One of our curses was the person that was giving the clue had to give the clue all in one breath. And so that was...
That's the one above us right here.
Oh, really? That's the one we had, and that was interesting. Or give clues without the letter, like any of your clues cannot be words that start with the letter S, and that was kind of hard. But it was a lot of fun. That one's always a hit.
next one. So that's Trap Words by Czech Games Edition. Next game is Just One.
Yeah, so we talked about this a little bit last time. Just One is a game, also considered a party game, but the whole group is trying to give clues to one person for them to guess one word. And they all have these little trays that they can write on, and you have to. Oh, I was like, do you want to say something? You're raising your hand. Now I lost my train of thought. Do you want to take it from here?
Well, we have an example. And
whenever I see a raised hand, I automatically think there's a question involved.
Too much of a teacher. So the example, I think I use the clue number. So someone cannot see the clue or the word, and you choose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So in this example, the person chose 2, but they don't know its number. So everyone wrote, like 5 people wrote different words to help the guesser, right?
Right. But the trick here is if 2 people write down the same word, so everyone's writing it in secret, the people that give clues show each other, not the person guessing. They show each other their clues. If anyone has the same clue written down, they have to erase it so that it's less clues to give the guesser. So sometimes it can be pretty interesting when there's only like one clue out there, like 1 or 2 clues where you're supposed to try to figure out what the word is.
Yes. Then the example we have infinity, the same clue. So then
infinity.
And you just have phone and 1 instead.
Yeah.
So to get the word number. All right. And the next game up on our list was Ice Cool.
that was fun to watch them play. At one point, I think they kind of stopped playing by the rules, but it was a lot of fun. That's a dexterity game for younger age group. Well, anyone can play, but it's a dexterity game where you're supposed to be like flicking penguins in and out of different rooms, and you're supposed to try to catch the other players and collect fish along the way. And they were moving around the table, having a good time, and it was a lot of fun to see.
Yeah, it's like, so essentially you're penguins, and one of you is a hall monitor, and the other one is sneaking out of class trying to eat fish.
Oh, that's what it is.
Yeah.
The rooms. Okay.
So you're at a school, I guess. And it was fun. I mean, I just taught it to them very quickly, so I didn't go over all the rules because I was trying to teach others, and they were happy to play with it the way I taught it.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, they seemed to be following some set of rules because they were taking out their fishes if they went in a certain direction, and so it seemed like they were taking turns the way it was supposed to go. But it looked like a lot of fun, and they were roaming around.
And the last games, yes.
I don't think on our list we talked about the next game that they started playing after, Noah's Ark.
Oh, no. Well, I have a picture up here. We have other games.
Sorry.
So, I mean, we'll throw it in there because there's a couple that I didn't have on the picture.
Okay.
And that's Noah's Ark, Don't Rock the Boat, and Hanabi. Those are not on the picture. So Noah's Ark, Don't Rock the Boat is another dexterity game.
Yeah. So once they finished playing the Ice Cool, they started playing Noah's Ark. And that one is also dexterity where there's a deck of cards that have different animals. And as you flip the next deck, the top deck, you have to place that animal on Noah's Ark. So it's an actual little Noah's Ark that's on a little moving pedestal.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Is that how you would describe it? And it's basically like you have to make sure you place an animal without it all collapsing because it moves very easily.
Put one animal on this side, it kind of that's why if you put it on this side, it evens out.
Yeah.
I use that game. I used it a lot in Taiwan with younger students to work on like adjectives or sentence structures, verbs, a lot of different things, colors, just to ask them to create a sentence with an animal they had to create a sentence with cards. So I designed my own cards for the game as well as the animal cards. And once they created a sentence, they were able to add the animal to the boat.
Yeah, I remember you using that a lot and working with grammar structures.
And Hanabi is another one we don't have pictured, and that's a cooperative game,
that one
information cooperative game.
That was only the second time I'd played it, so we were kind of had to go over the rules a little bit. But basically, you are creating a fireworks show, and something went wrong, so you have to fix it before the fuse reaches the point where it starts the fireworks or it explodes. And so throughout the game, you have a deck of cards in your hand, but you can't actually look at your cards. You have to face it outwards it's a cooperative game, so you're all working together. So if you face it outwards for your teammates to look at. And each turn, you have to either give a clue to another person, like you would point and say you have 2 green cards or so-and-so. And so you either give a clue, you put one down, or you discard. And what you're trying to do is basically there are 5 different colors of fireworks, and you're supposed to put them down 1 through 5 in the correct order. And that's the tricky part, is you start learning what cards you have, but you don't necessarily know the order. And once you find out the order, you might have discarded stuff you needed. So in the end, we didn't get a perfect score, but we were pretty high up there, and we had a fireworks show. Okay. But that was a lot of fun because
not awe-inspiring, just okay.
Because you have a certain number of clues that you can give, so you can't just give unlimited clues. So if you want to get some clue giving tokens back, you have to discard. So we ended up discarding cards that we eventually needed, and so we didn't get a perfect score. But it was fun.
And then next up, we have 3 up here. So King Domino, I played with your aunt, and that was fun. And King Domino, you're essentially just matching. So in dominoes, you have your numbers, right? 1 through 6 or 9, is it? I don't remember. But you have your numbers, and you try to match your numbers. And in the actual domino game, I only played it once in Mexico. I don't know exactly how to play. It's been a while. But essentially, you're matching numbers together. So in King Domino, you're matching just different types of terrain, and you're trying to build your kingdom. And the terrain has different point values. So you're just trying to score the highest points. And it's very easy, very relaxing. I taught your aunt, and we were able to play.
Yeah. That's always a good game and pretty easy to learn. And I don't know, it's fun, and can be 2 players, so we play it a lot. Yeah. 2-player games for the win.
The next 2, and a lot of people are familiar with Apples to Apples, and we just have that because it's one of those games that a lot of people know, so they can grab off the table that we have our games on and pick it up and play, and just maybe even teach others how to play if they don't know how to play. So I think for board game nights, it's important to have, if you're running events, it's important to have some games that a lot of people are familiar with. So, because it's only just you and me. Right. And I was walking around teaching games, and I was at one point I was teaching 2 games at one time.
Oh, right.
And you were playing because you kind of want to welcome people.
Right. Sure I sat down and played the Hanabi, and that one kind of lasted a bit. So Apples to Apples was one that was picked up because other people had played it before. They knew the rules. So that was one that a person that came for the first time to our board game night was able to teach. And it was fun. We played it once. One of the girls that was here, she almost immediately won, because every round people would choose her clue. So the game didn't last very long because she was just so good at choosing the right card for the person, even though we all didn't know each other. But it was fun. And that's also one that can easily be picked up, and it's kind of a comfort game. That was the first game that when people showed up, they just picked up and started playing because, one of us wasn't available to teach.
And the last one that we'll talk about is just Flux. So this is a game. There's a bunch of different versions of it. It's
I've seen so many.
draw one, play one game, and there's a lot of rule changes. It's super easy to teach because the rules essentially the only rule is you draw a card and you play a card, and then you read what read what the cards say, and you have to match it. You have to meet the goal of the game. So the goals always change, and you're just basically reading the cards and playing.
Yeah, I remember the first time I had played that, I was a little confused because you told us draw a card, play a card, and then that was most of your explanation. So as I was playing, I was like, wait, but what's the But in the end, it is literally the cards kind of direct you where to go. So that's always fun, and I just love this game because I remember the first time I'd ever played it. It was with one of my family members who she's in 4th grade, and she was really against playing a new game. She wanted to play something she had already learned, and we were like, no, we have this game. We think the group will like it. We'll teach you. We'll work with you. And she loved it. The next time she was like, let's play that Flux game again. And it was just so funny. Like the 360 she basically did from the first time when she just didn't want to play a new game. She didn't want to bother learning a new game, but then she ended up loving it.
Right. Yeah. Flux. I want to get a different version and check out the differences.
Yeah, I've seen like Marvel, like different themes. We have the fairy tale one.
All right, so that was our board game.
You also forgot another one.
Last time.
You guys also played Splendor.
Oh, right. Yeah, we played
Splendor. Splendor's
Splendor
always
too.
a good one. That one's one of my favorites.
I played with someone who is more into strategic games, and we played just him and I while others showed up for the board game event night. Splendor is like I guess kind of a set collection game, maybe? But you're essentially gaining resources to purchase more cards, and those cards are worth points. And then the cards also the cards also give you resources to purchase other cards.
Yeah, I really like that game because it is a little more complex than others. More experienced gamers, I guess you could say, really enjoy it. But at the same time, the entry level is very low. Like, it's very easy to explain. Someone who doesn't necessarily play board games all the time can easily pick up. So I think it's enjoyable just for everyone on that spectrum.
There's a lot of strategic depth for heavy gamers. And it's a simple game to teach and learn how to play, but there's depth and strategy with it.
Right. Yeah, that's why I would put Splendor on one of the top of my list, my imaginary list.
So that was our board game event. We'll have another one March 15th.
Yes.
In, again, Los Angeles. So if you're in the area, come check it out. If you are watching this on Facebook after we've been live, leave a comment. Let us know what games you've been playing recently. If you're watching on YouTube, also leave a comment. Let us know what you've been playing recently. Or if you have any suggestions, we'd love to hear those as well.
Yes, we always want to play new games. And we are constantly trying to increase our collection and trying to find ways to get the community involved. So join us and bring your games as well. The more the merrier.
Right. And something else we are doing that I've kind of been talking about on the podcast and reaching out to other publishers. If you want us to play a game at the board game event, let us know as well if you're a publisher. So
yeah, we can play it and kind of get a feel of it and talk about it here on the podcast.
All right. Until next time, thank you for watching.
See you next time.
with Walters?
I don't know. Adults in daycares.
Hmm?
My aunt said we should.